We're
We're live, so we should be good. Let me just get hello to everyone that's joining. Okay, hold on one second. We're live, so we should be good. Let me just get
There we go. It was going to give me weird feedback if I
okay. So
kept that up.
okay, we're streaming and we're live here and we're good. People are everywhere.
Some. Oh, good. Good morning, everybody.
Have a great show.
All right. Thanks. Are you sticking around?
I may be in the background here and there. Yeah.
Cool. Great. All right, you guys. It's good to see you. I'm Alex. We were together a few weeks ago. I did miss the Mindful Monday group panel, but I'm happy to be here with you today. Let me know your names, where you're coming from. And last time I had a food related question, so I'm going to stick with that. I did not eat the crock pot, by the way, for anybody returning. If you want more on that, I can elaborate. But give me your name, where you're coming from, and I want to know what you eat for breakfast because it does matter in the context of this conversation, which we'll get to little bit later. So give me a little love in the chat. I think we can add you as panelists too. We did that last time, and I thought that was kind of cool. Alex on fuel. Can you do that, or can I do that?
I think we can both do that. Let me see. I just unlocked chat for everyone, so if you weren't able to chat for a second, now you are.
Oh, okay, you guys. Yeah,
Join in. Where are you from? And what'd you
Alex
say?
from
What did you eat?
Chicago. I am also kind of from Chicago. I'll be there on Wednesday.
Okay,
Okay,
what did you
participant.
have?
Oh, there we go. I was living in the West Loop before I moved to California.
Recording in progress.
Cool. All right. Looks like the chat is going. Participant list. I cannot yogurt or fruit with cottage cheese. Okay, beautiful. Um, yeah, attendees. Oh, okay. I think, yeah, no, I can't move them to panelists. I can just chat or report, which I'm not reporting anybody.
Okay, you cannot promote them. You tried?
I can't. No, I have, if I click more, it's either chat or report. So I can
Okay,
see
so
them.
let's see. I will. Do we have someone who raised their hand that wants to be panelist? Or do you want me to just start promoting everyone?
Yeah, let's promote. You guys, we're going to make you panelists so that this can be a little bit more interactive. It tends to be,
If yeah,
oh,
if you want to. I'm just gonna
yeah, if you
promote you.
want
If
to.
you can deny it, but I'll just start promoting everyone.
Cool. Taco Bell breakfast. Okay, we got to talk.
Uh-oh.
No
Uh-oh.
more Taco Bell
Uh-oh.
breakfast. I didn't even know Taco Bell did breakfast. Um, Sin's got the soft-boiled egg, avocado on sprouted grain muffin. Okay, cool. And yeah, you guys can keep your cameras on and join me in the discussion. You can turn your cameras off. You can go back and forth.
All
This
right,
is
just to
for
be
you.
clear for everyone, Alex, there
Mhm.
are three Alexes right now.
Oh
Um,
my.
on this right now at this moment.
Yeah.
Uh,
Maybe there will be
it's
more.
it's good luck for just so everyone knows everyone's getting good luck just by being around three Alexes at once.
Yeah. Wow. What are the odds? That's very rare.
It is.
And all different versions of the name. Alex, are you Alexander?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm a full Alexandra. Okay. All right, you guys, good morning. I think we've got some answers here. Who are you? Where are you from? I can see your names up here. We've just got a couple chats going. We'll get started here in a minute. As we're getting going, this Mindful Monday, the whole purpose of it is to take a theme and then unpack it in a few different ways. It starts as a group and then it sort of goes to us individually. And so I think one of the one of the things that I've sort of learned over this process is I've definitely got a lot to say about a lot of different things, but I want to know what you guys want to know about certain topics. So the chat to me is like gold. So please use it. It will drive the conversation. Otherwise it's just me talking at you for the next hour, which um, I don't think is as impactful as a dialogue. So okay, we're down to two Alexes here. But as we get started, and I think YouTube's going. YouTube, you guys don't have access to the chat, and I know that you're more just onlookers and like to just watch. But I will let you know my Instagram is up. So if you want to DM any questions or comments, you can DM me on the gram at Alex Sabbag. And for all of you guys here, this is my IG handle, so you can give me a follow and engage with that at this moment, very little content I put out on that platform, but I can receive messages. So if you guys on YouTube want to chat, let's go there. Okay, before we fully jump in, I am Alex Sabbag. It's great to be here. I've done a lot of things with Fuel, especially with the Mindful Monday panel, but my two courses are now live. So in the promotion that I believe went out yesterday, there are links to Rooted in Resilience and Give Up on Giving Up. Both of those are new. They're me. They're talking about my personal story, of which I can give you a little bit of an overview. And they are pretty cool, if you ask me. So, Rooted in Resilience and Give Up on Giving Up. If you've watched my courses, drop it in the chat. What'd you think? Where are you in the process? Did anything in there stick out to you? We are going to reference one of them in a little bit more detail as we get into this content. So, if you haven't spent any time with those courses, please do. The Give Up on Giving Up is something you can take in doses. You can kind of read it's certain themes, of everyday life that pop up and sort of disrupt our peace, and they're paired with actionable tactics where you can sort of work through those moments. So one could speak to you now, all of them could speak to you now. It could be something that you could sort of popcorn around or take in its entirety. It's totally up to you. Rooted in Resilience is a little bit different. That is, meant to be done from start to finish in the chronological order. Rooted in Resilience is very much tied to my personal story and my lived experience. I am a best-selling author. I published my book Soul Dive, My Journey into the Deep. Pop the title in there. You guys can check out my book. I'm a two-time business owner and entrepreneur. I live in Southern California, although I was in Chicago for 18 years. I own a studio in Palm Desert. So my part of my day-to-day life is movement. I teach yoga. I'm big into Pilates. I do a lot of weightlifting. But the studio in the desert, which I am in the desert now, and yes, it's hot. Is focused on three things. It's focused on movement, art, and experience, because we lack this thing called genuine human connection. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted you guys to be panelists, so that we could see each other and and really have a conversation versus this virtual black hole that is sometimes Zoom. What got me, so I was practicing yoga for, gosh, over 20 years at this point. What brought me deeper into the practice was a life experience that really knocked me off my skis. My fiance was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer on my 33rd birthday, and I became his caregiver. And it was during that time that yoga really became a lifeline and a respite for me. And it was all I had. I had my faith. Um, and that was something I felt was strong and connected. And I had this yoga practice, and I really didn't have much else, which is sort of what spurred me into this, at this point, 7+ year process of discovering who am I, what am I supposed to be here, and how do we make people a little bit more resilient? Because life is happening no matter what. I mean, I got news for you guys. No one's immune to it. You can't skip it. It's like, if you haven't experienced the 2x4 moment, of which I lay out in the first chapter of my book, you will. So I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I do want to come to you with some things that can make it a little softer, when the blow comes and you're hitting for the landing. a little softer, a little more equanimity, so we're not sort of in this jagged up and down. So we can just ride these waves with a little more grace. So I think that's really the place that I'm coming from. I'm not, here to give you this flowery, everything is going to be okay, and it's all rainbows and butterflies. I know firsthand that's not the case. And I learned that fairly early. Actually, just turned 40 about a month ago, and this whole experience happened to me in my early 30s. And you think like, wow, gosh, that's pretty young to be going through something like that. And while there's no really great age to experience the turbulence that is everyday life, uh, I feel grateful that it hit early, so I can dust off and kind of get my vision back and develop a process and a practice that's able to carry me through, just this thing called life, of which is equal parts, beautiful and absolutely gut-wrenching at the same time. So in all this process, we talk about, the whole theme here is it's like doubt and uncertainty. And the way that I look at doubt and uncertainty is really, I'm just going to frame it for you because I know there's an explanation on the email and I should probably reference that, but I have this sort of outline here. So I hope the dots connect. Um, we have, this ever evolving path that we go on. Change is our only constant. You've probably heard that before. But we're never there. Like we're always trying to get there, and we think about like, oh gosh, I really want this promotion, or I want to move somewhere else, or I just want to be out of this phase and I want to be into the next. And that's fine. And those things are placed on your heart for a reason. And I encourage you to like keep them close. But the doubt and uncertainty comes because we exist in this thing called liminal space. And liminal space is that space between who you were and who you're becoming, what's no longer and what's not yet. And I'm just gonna um, put some things in the chat, who you were and this, okay. I can't type and talk at the same time. Who you were and who you are becoming. Okay, this is the liminal space we exist in. So if anybody is familiar with that term and just that piece of our existence, like give me a little love here. The space between the liminal space, the desert space, I call it the desert space a lot. And like, hello, I'm literally in the physical desert, and I've spent a lot of time in the proverbial desert space of life, is where your life is happening. It's the now, okay? It's the I was this version of me, like this life experience did happen. You could say it happened to me, happened for me, how you want to position that. I did become a caretaker. I experienced major loss. This was a real thing that happened. But I didn't just go from, hi, I'm Alex and I'm taking care of my sick fiance, to hi, I'm Alex and I wrote a book and I rose from the ashes. And here I am living a life full of peace, purpose, and presence, and actually teaching those lessons back. There was an entire space between who you were and who you're becoming. Your chat is not updating. Um, Hi, Paula. The chat is a little quiet, Paula, so I do think it's updating. I just think there's not a whole lot of dialogue happening. So you guys jump in the chat just so we know it's working too. Okay. Oh, there you are. Beautiful. So how we choose to move through this liminal space is really, like, that's what dictates the amount of doubt, the level of uncertainty, these things that aren't quite clear. So you guys with me so far? Like this, like conceptually making sense. This is where I want to start because we're not so confused when we like land in the thing. When we're like, gosh, I've been saving for a house, saving for a house. I'm closing on the house. Nothing's confusing about that. We're not uncertain about that moment. We have the documents, we signed, some legal paperwork. There's a transaction that happened. There's a physical key that's placed in our hand. Like we are in that moment. Okay. When we are in the space between, when we're saving for the house, when we're still renting the apartment, when we're just trying to figure out how to connect where we are as the renter to where we want to be as the owner, that's the liminal space. That's the space between. There's all these moments when we're single and we just want to be married. I mean, hello, that's been me for the better part of my adult life. The space between who we were and who we are becoming. This is where the doubt and the uncertainty starts to creep in. Okay, are you guys with me? So when we're in these spaces, when we're in the who we were before we're who we're becoming the person that's manifesting something. We talk a lot about manifesting or the dreams or the hopes. I'm like lukewarm to the manifesting term, but people really like it. So we'll just go ahead and throw it in here. Okay. Paula posted the panelist host. Oh, got it. Okay. All right, Paula, yeah, when you text or when you put into the chat, go ahead and post to everybody so that we can see those messages. Okay. All right, beautiful. So we talk about this concept of manifesting. We could use the word hopes, we could use the word dreams, we could use the word vision, like where we think we're going to go. So who here thinks, I'm a manifester? Who's a manifester here? Like I am manifesting the most handsome husband or most beautiful wife. I'm manifesting a new career. Yes, I am manifesting like my hot summer body. I don't know. Whatever it is. I'm manifesting $5 million. Like amen. Like let's put this all down here because this isn't bad. Just because I'm like, okay, the manifesting word's a little buzzy doesn't mean we shouldn't use it. So like what are the hopes and the dreams? If you want to share your hopes and dreams in here, like go ahead because there is power in the collective. But when we talk about manifesting, what do we think about? And to me, I've like thought about people who just sort of sit and they're like, I am manifesting it, and they just are sitting in this like beautiful environment and maybe lit a candle and, the moon could be full or half or like whatever it's supposed to be in these moments. I don't know. I don't really, um, think too much about the moon cycle. But when you think about manifesting, I just think of people who are like, like I really hope this comes in, and it's like sitting there with our fingers crossed, and there's a really big problem with that, and that's where my mind goes. And you guys might like see this totally differently, but that's where my mind goes. When you see that part of manifesting where you're just hoping and you're sitting there with your fingers crossed, maybe your eyes closed, the one thing that's not happening is any action. Okay, you're just sitting there. You're just hoping it comes forward, but you're not really doing anything about it. Quick plug, chapter 10 of my book is called Happy Horseshit. And you guys, I really hope you take a minute, not only do the courses, but go buy my book on Amazon, please. It'll bring us a lot closer in this relationship that we're developing over Monday mornings, of which, by the way, it is 8 a.m. in California. And that is a little bit before I do human interaction. So grab my book and let's talk about chapter 10 for a second. It's called Happy Horseshit, and it is completely dedicated to my father. And is it Soul Dive My Journey to Be? Yes. Yes. And I will link it on Amazon, but you guys, multitasking, as we can see, is not my strong suit. So give me a minute and I'll get that into the chat. Um,
I'll take care of it, Alex.
oh, thank you. He's back, the man behind the curtain. Um, when I was kind of going through my stuff, like the diagnosis had hit, I'm in the throes of being a caregiver. I'm losing myself. I put my company on ice and I was just, kind of looking and grabbing for anything I can get my hands on. So I'm reading a lot of self-help books. Comfortable with Uncertainty was certainly one of them that I wrote. And if you need to pick that one up too, you could do that. I think mine's a little bit more fun. But I'm visiting my parents in Iowa. I grew up in Iowa, and I'm sitting by the pool, and my dad comes outside with a giant box from Amazon and he throws it at my feet. He's a very fiery Italian man. And despite me being 5'10", he's not. He's a very small, fiery Italian man. And he goes, here's more of your happy horse shit, Alex. And I am like, oh, you don't understand me. You don't understand what I'm going through. And I'm just like kind of gutted in that moment. But I also laughed. And what I realized is if we don't move toward our manifestations, it's all a bunch of happy horseshit. If we're not doing anything, if there's no act in action, it's just nonsense. And that's ultimately what happy horseshit means. If you need a real life example, come on out to Southern California. We're surrounded by it. Tons of it. Tons of happy horseshit down here. This has stuck with me for years. I mean, so much so that it owns an entire chapter of my book. If we aren't moving toward the manifestations, if we aren't doing anything to bring these dreams to life, if we're just sitting there with our fingers crossed, it's totally just happy horseshit. So I have sweatshirts that are happy horseshit sweatshirts. If you want to order one of those, we can we can connect separately. I sometimes post them on Instagram. I think I have one left in stock at the moment. Okay, so what does this have to do with doubt and uncertainty? Because I'm going to bring us back around here to the theme. You guys are like, wow, it's tangents this morning. I am drinking regular caffeine, which is not something I do very often. Um, but if we don't move towards these manifestations, it's not going to do anything for us. I want to come back to the course Rooted in Resilience. This course will take you through my personal journey. And so I've shared a little bit about what I've gone through and sort of what this, like the genesis of me becoming, the voice and the leader of who I am through this process. But Rooted in Resilience is going to take you on a journey. And lesson 5 is going to talk about something that's really important. And that really important piece is the practice. So in these times, in these liminal space seasons, your liminal space can be a week. It could be 2 hours. I mean, we've sat by the phone waiting. Oh my gosh, is he going to call? Am I going to get this? Am I going to answer about the job? Am I going to whatever? It can be 2 hours. It could be 2 weeks. It can be 2 years. Okay. It can be 5 years. Hello. That was more my experience. But in the season of waiting, and by the way, we're supposed to wait. This whole thing where we feel entitled to instant gratification. No one told you that was what you were supposed to have. You just somehow, we all did, found the sense of entitlement that we were supposed to have it because the technology age gave us things, at the drop of a hat. But we're not supposed to have that. We are supposed to wait and we are supposed to practice patience. And, as a spiritual woman and as a woman of faith, these desert spaces are there for a reason. And the reasons are all very specific and personal to you. But what we do during those desert spaces and during that liminal space season determines how we move through to get to the thing that we want. If that thing is actually supposed to be for us, by the way, which they aren't always. We get a little close and then it rips away and then we're really upset. And that's totally a topic for another day. But the practice is what carries us through these seasons of doubt and uncertainty. The practice is what gets us out of bed in the morning and gives us something to live through, to live for. Okay. And it's not necessarily living for that big thing. We just wake up and go buy the $5 million house. You guys, this is a whole process of how we take little steps and, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. The practice is the thing that we can be grounded in. So the big question, I have for everybody, as we start to talk about what this practice is and what that means is, what are you rooted in? What actually matters to you? What are the non-negotiable things? And go ahead and put this in the chat because we're going to come back to the food thing in a second here. What are you rooted in? Is it your faith? Is it a certain hobby that you have? Is it an interest? Is it working out? Is it cooking? What are you rooted in? That's what I want to know. I want to hear from you. What are you currently rooted in? I mean, this is literally one of the biggest themes of the next book that I'm about to write. Your faith first. Amen, girl. I feel you. That's beautiful. Family. Yes, what you're rooted in truly matters. And there's a lot of people who don't know. And if you're gosh, I don't know. I just sort of wake up and go faith and healing journey, beautiful faith and family. Okay, here you all are. Are you awake? Did everybody get their real caffeine too? What you're rooted in really, really matters. And you can see the difference between people who are sprinkling fairy dust and not rooted in anything and people who are actually rooted in something tangible, bigger than themselves, that really matters. And it doesn't have to be so complicated. Okay. It does not have to be. As humans, we've overcomplicated things. Can I get an amen from this one? I mean, how many parts of our lives have become so convoluted with this, with ridiculous rules and process. And we're man, if I just got back to the basics, I'd have more time on my hands, probably have more money in my bank account, and it would just be easier. Can we just make life a little easier? That does not mean we're lazy, but simplifying things is really a beautiful thing. So let's talk about a practice. I see a lot of faith and family. yeah, technology simplifies life. We decided to make it more complicated. Yes. I mean, this assumes we can figure out the technology, which is something it's like my brain can't compute. When it's like, here's an app that's going to really make yourself, have more time, and then my internal system crashes.
I
Um,
think it's because the minute we have more time, we're like, we have more time. Let's fill that time rather than just being in that additional time or being with that additional time. It's
totally.
almost it's almost like, we have been programmed to feel like we have to be constantly doing the next thing. And technology is like, hey, hold on a second, we can give you time back. You're like, thanks, so I can do more things.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yep.
That's very true. With the time you get back, though, you could really fill in a robust practice, I have to say. So practice does
Exactly.
require
Now we're
some time and
talking.
space. It is a concerted effort to make it. So I don't talk a whole heck of a lot about what my practice consists of, but I'm going to share some of those things here. And then again, I want to hear from you on what you feel drawn to. I do want to point out being rooted in family. I saw this a few times. Super beautiful, and I'm a huge, lover of family and spending quality time for them. But that is not just time for you. And so when you think about family, it's like, okay, what can I do for me to show up better for my family? Like, where can I start maybe like 5 or 10 steps before my family drive in order to be fully present, to have the time and space, to have the mental capacity to really dive into those like really special moments with family. Um, and so this is really all about you. The concepts and the philosophies or the poetic wisdom drops, if you wanna go there, are all about you. It's a very selfish hour, and I make no apologies about that. This is really about you developing a practice that will carry you through the life that you're living, the doubt, the uncertainty, as much the celebrations as when we get knocked down. So, what does the practice look like? There are a few non-negotiables for me, which are all, and you guys will see these pop up in my courses. But number one is movement. And you heard it. If you're not moving towards your manifestations, it's all a bunch of happy horseshit. So this concept of movement can come in many different ways. Physically moving your body. Obviously, I'm a believer in yoga, in Pilates, in like just actually moving energy, like whether you're shaking your hands down or you're doing a little bit of a flow practice. Moving your body is essential. So, who here has some type of a movement routine? Are you walking at lunch? Are you a member at a gym? Are you taking a boxing class? What are you doing? Drop it in here. Like tell me what it is you do, and are you dedicated? Is there a devotion, to the movement to make sure it happens every day in some capacity? It could be 5 minutes, 3 miles a day. That is incredible. I have found, let's talk about the 20,000 steps per day. I have found this to be a great goal. So, yes, number one, we should totally do that. But if you are tall, like if we have any tall people in here, 20,000 steps is like 2 times what a 5'3" person would achieve in 20,000 steps because our stride is so long. I feel like maybe my math isn't mathing, but I just want to point that out. Okay, kickboxing, awesome. Core development, running, yoga, walks on breaks. That's beautiful. It doesn't have to be all in one sitting, right? Pilates, amazing. There's something profound, and I can speak specifically to the yoga practice. You don't need to know in many things in life, but you don't need to know what the yoga is doing for you when you make the commitment for that practice. And by the way, there is a 30-minute flow in my Give Up on Giving Up course. So check that out. Be prepared to do a little bit. It's a very simple sequence. It's all done on the mat. Um, so definitely check that out. But your body is releasing and opening up certain areas of it so that it can release things that you no longer need. That's what the practice is doing, in short. And that sounds very abstract. Um, and that might be true. But okay, so let's see how far we go with the 20,000 steps. Can we go back to the 20,000 steps math? Alex, you do 20,000 steps, and I'm gonna do 20,000 steps, and let's see how far that is, like miles wise. I have to solve this because I swear maybe I should be goaling myself at like 15,000 steps, and that would be appropriate. distance. Um, okay. Yeah, all the Alexes. Let's do let's do a little social experiment. Anyway, the movement is really, really important. There's, obviously the physical benefits of strengthening the body and stabilizing your core and working on balance and mobility. And I heard a really profound thing in a 3-hour yoga workshop a few years back. We were in a forward fold, which, you just fold forward, grab your elbows, let your head hang down, maybe the forehead grazes the knees. And the teacher was like, this is not a forward fold. And I'm all like, well, then, what is it? He goes, this is 90-year-old you tying your shoes. And that changed my relationship with what parts of these practices really mean. Okay. Like we can all, like, none of us are 90 here, I'm assuming. If you are 90, good on you. I'm super stoked to have you. Um, but doing these things that enable us to have freedom and independence in older ages when our bodies, inevitably start to break down, like that is a huge gift. That is a good reason to practice a forward fold, right? So I just wanted to throw that out. Sounds like we're a moving team. Maybe in one of these, let us know in the chat if you want to just do an hour where I teach you a yoga class. We can totally do that. We can't do it today. Because I'm not in yoga gear. So if you want to do that, go ahead and put that in the chat and we can dedicate one of these Mindful Mondays to a nice yoga flow. YouTube. Ooh, let's see if anybody on YouTube's chatting with us today. Nope.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Well,
think that would be great, Alex. I think we should really consider that. You can see
cool.
Angelica already said yes. I think people would really enjoy one of these being a movement.
Just doing some good old-fashioned yoga. Great. We can do
I
it from
mean,
the studio.
look, to remind everyone, the reason these exist on Mondays is how you start your morning and how you start your week is really important, right? It's really important. It helps the rest of the day. It helps the rest of the week. And so that's why these Monday morning mindsets are happening. And I think movement is an amazing way to start the morning. So great.
Beautiful. Did anyone do some movement this morning? Because I'm going to go ahead and level set. I did not. I was exhausted and I slept until 7.
I, 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 I did, we did some movement. You're good.
You covered it?
Yeah, yeah, we covered it.
Okay. All right. Group effort. I am going to later. So the day is still very young. Okay. So movement is just this like huge non-negotiable. Okay. Um, if you need to be inspired about a movement practice, you can message me. I'm going to actually drop my contact info in here too. I'm super happy to engage with you guys offline or through Fuel. Okay, so movement is a big one. The second one I want to say is meditation. And meditation, again, for me, is not just sitting in the stillness. That's fine. If you practice meditation that way, like good on you, keep going. I admire you. Okay. Um, if you need some guided meditations, my co-panelists, Ali and Danielle, they have beautiful content going up on Fuel. For me, meditation looks a little bit different. Meditation is something that is not actively engaging my mind, so my mind can start to slow down. So things can start to unravel and come off. I will share yesterday morning, yesterday I had really the whole day to myself. So that's a gift. I woke up really early and it's always sunny in the desert, and I'm a sun lover. And I decided to have coffee outside in the sun. And I brought my journal and I had all my beverages and I had my journal and I played um, music that I really like on Sunday. It's Bethel worship music. And I had decided I wasn't going to church, and the pastor was on vacation, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take this time. And I journaled and I just sort of sat and was sort of just like in my own thoughts for 2 hours. It was a really long process. And sometimes we don't have 2 hours a day, but if we do have like a longer chunk of time to just not do anything else, um, yeah, just church and nature. And we just need to like, you need to just be in those moments and just, but with yourself. And that was really important to me. Like I've had a lot of outside stimulation. I had a really bananas week. Feel like if I start talking about that, my coffee is going to turn into wine, speaking of church. And and just to simply be and like collect some thoughts. And I did that. And I'm looking at my journal right now because that's actually where I made my notes about today. Because I'm like, what do people need to hear? What do they want to, what do we want to talk about? Um, what's my mission tomorrow? And then what's my, kind of mission in other ways. I journaled, personally kind of what's going on, and that part I'm not going to read. But it was a really special moment and process. But I want to just open up, candidly, meditation to me can be just many, many things. I don't have a one dimensional, like I only do this every day practice for it. It's okay if you do. Like some people eat the same thing for breakfast every day, and that really like serves you in a way, and that's fine. That's not me. Some days it's meditation, some days it's you know, it's walking in silence, and some days it's like arranging flowers. And like I know this has come up in a couple other of my conversations, but I am a huge flower fan. I always have fresh flowers in my house. My mother always did this. It's like I literally want you to walk in the door and see so many flowers, you think somebody died. Truly, I do. I love it. They're in every room. And just the whole art of like picking them out and getting them home and snipping them and picking the vases and arranging how they look, and then every couple days changing the water and like keeping up on this practice for me is very meditative. And I think I read somewhere that flower arranging leads to enlightenment. And I'm like, how could this be bad? But it's something that it's just this like beautiful task that the end result continues to fill me up, throughout the day and throughout the week. And just that process of working with something, it's sort of like gardening. I don't have a garden in my world right now. And so this is like sort of the answer to that for me. But some type of meditation where you can just break free from your day. And there are so many different, ways to do this. There's no one way to skin the cat. But meditation in some way, shape, or form is very important. There's too much happening upstairs. And if we don't quiet the upstairs, we can't hear. Why is this important? To come back to our theme. The liminal space is aggravating. Like when you are waiting for that thing to arrive and you don't know why you don't have it yet, and it's equal parts like, yes, I have faith. And if we have faith and we get rooted in that, kind of anchor, I trust and where is it don't belong in the same sentence, right? We can't say that truthfully, authentically. I trust and where is it when we are, rooted in faith in this liminal space. But it doesn't mean that we can't be a little frustrated that it's not here yet. And I can tell you in this process of being single for most of my adult life, I've believed it's like, okay, no, he's there, he's coming, or like even when I'm dangling by a little bit of the thread, and then in other times I'm like slapping a stick against the wall and like, get off the donkey. What's taking so long? And so we can be very frustrated in these spaces, which kind of comes back to why the movement and the meditation are so important. When we get quiet and we can drop into a space that gets us in a little bit more stillness, we can start to hear. I'm leading a big two workshops for, there's a 500 couple marriage retreat coming to the desert from a church in San Diego coming to the desert. And they reached out to me and I'm like, yes, I will lead, this is like my jam to be able to bring like faith into the conversation here. And so, I'm leading a workshop on meditation and prayer. And so if prayer is talking to God, then meditation is listening. And the listening is, we're not as good at the listening. We're really good at our wish list. Where is this? I've been a good person. Where's my reward? We're not good at the listening. And so these things are designed to bring you into the space where you can listen. And what you hear may not be what you love, but it might be what's necessary. The thing that you want may not show up because it might not be for you. And you need to know that. And you need to be open to hearing and receiving what that message is. And you can't do that when upstairs is barking, constantly barking. Okay. So we just have to do these things that get us a little bit more quiet, completely quiet, so we can drop into this space of listening and understanding. And sometimes that's, in a journal exercise, just this free form journal of getting everything down on the page and then realizing, what you wanted, you actually don't want it anymore. Like sometimes things are just like, gosh, I just needed to write it down, um, to realize that that's actually not the thing. Um, and so I know some of these conversations can get really, ethereal in nature, where it's just abstract and vague, and so I hope you're still with me. Give me something in the chat. I know Alex from Fuel is still with me. We've had a lot of conversations about this, separately, but I think it's important to talk about these liminal spaces because this is sort of where a lot of magic in our life happens. And sometimes we're too irritated because we're waiting for this thing to arrive that we don't see what's happening right now. We talk a lot about present moment, and present moment is the liminal space, the desert space. Um, yeah, awesome. Thank you, Angelica. Amazing. Angelica, I'm sorry, for that mispronunciation. Yeah, thank you. It's tough and it's irritating. I give you permission, to be pissed sometimes, right? Not all the time, but just know that frustration, will be fleeting, and someday it will all make sense why you were put on this bench, why you were asked to wait, why it didn't come right away. And we learn with age. I think age is really the only thing that can give us this solid teaching. I think we can conceptually understand when we're in our 20s, and we can start to really understand when we hit 40 and 50, even like in our 30s, right? When we've lived the life and we've seen what happens when we're put in the season of waiting, or when that thing was taken away and we're back in the liminal space. Um, and we have to believe that it's for a greater good. And when we think about being rooted in something bigger and we have the faith, then we can know. Okay, so we've talked about two tactics and gone on a lot of tangents. So glad you're all still with me. Let's talk about the last one. So I opened up today's conversation with what you had for breakfast. For me, as part of the practice, I would say food is possibly the top most important thing that I do every day. Alexandra, thank you so much for that message. Um, I will respond to you directly. So hang in there with that. So no Taco Bell. Yeah, no Taco Bell, girl, especially with that message you just sent me. Absolutely no Taco Bell. Okay, food is one of, I don't know that I can rank, movement, meditation, and food, but if I did, I do think that food is going to come to the top. Um, And fuel is the perfect brand, right? Because what you fuel your mind, body, and spirit with is what carries you forward. So food to me, I'll just share a little bit about, my history. I've always really liked food. I'm from an Italian family. I'm an eater. Like there was no way I was going to be a ballerina or, anything else. I just was like always interested in food. Um, my mother would pick me up from high school. Wow, what a combo. Amazing. Italian and Mexican. You got all the good food there. My mother would pick me up from school. I rode horses as a child. She'd pick me up from school and take me through the drive-through. This is on top of like, she'd feed me breakfast, she'd pack my lunch, she'd take me through the drive-through. Junior high, whatever. I maybe not all the way through high school, but I remember this like as an adolescent and a preteen. And I would get like the Burger King meal, of course, the sandwich, the fries, the Coke, like I ate it all. And my mom was like, great, because we always wanted to eat dinner as a family. So I'd be riding my horse. My dad wouldn't get home from work till like 7:30. So we always had a late dinner. And I was an only child, getting I was raised as an only child. I have some half siblings that are older, and so I was eating a lot, like a lot. And I was riding a horse. It's not like I was running, 10 miles. And either way, food always became this like, it was just a very prominent part of my upbringing. And so the older I got, um, I would learn a little bit about what I was supposed to eat to be thin. Okay. So then I go through this whole salad and quinoa phase in my 20s. And nothing says thin like, a little some drinks at night and a little salad with nothing in it. There's absolutely no fuel in that meal, by the way. And I was constantly sick. And when I say sick, like constant anxiety, never sleeping well, my skin wasn't good. My gut was always inflamed. Like as a thin person, like I could just see my stomach being like upset and I didn't have energy and I was just sort of like I was caffeine in the morning and wine at night and it was a very unhealthy way to get through to get through my day to day. When my fiance was diagnosed, one kind of ping of awareness I had was the only thing we can control is what we put in our bodies and what he puts um, in his body. And so I became obsessed with food. And what I started to learn then was, and I asked his doctors, what kind of, diet can we follow? And they're like, just keep doing what you're doing. They had no idea. Okay. If you want my opinions on Western medicine, check out my book, Soul Dive, My Journey into the Deep. I share candidly about what I think about all that. But the bottom line was I had to go, on this food journey on my own. I had to find, the resources and the knowledge to put it into, our lives. Well, I didn't get the gift of time with him, but I did get the gift of time for me. And I've been eating an animal-based, at times carnivore diet for 6 years. And what I have learned to be true is fueling your body with animal protein is it. Okay. The book is on Amazon. And there was a link in the chat. Let me repost. Um, so in my course, Give Up on Giving Up, uh, there is a 7-day like meal guide. Okay. It's like, here's a program. Don't apologize, girl. We got you. Um, So I kind of list out some of my favorite recipes and favorite meal plans. There's plenty of options for breakfast, by the way. So you can skip that Taco Bell. But a couple of the reasons why I think food's so important. Number one, taking the time to kind of meal prep, plan, get an idea of what you're going to put into your body is one of the biggest gifts you can give to yourself and your family. So when we go back to this connection with family, it's not just about you, but it is about people you share, your home, your life, and your space with. I did fully meal prep last night. I was like, if I'm going to talk about this, I got to like practice what I preach. I made 2 pounds of ground beef with some potatoes, onions, and zucchini, and like just a big with Italian seasoning. So there's just like a big pot of that. I currently have a little dish of it in the oven heating up for my breakfast. So it's ready to go after this call. And for dinner, I made just this big pan of chicken breasts with Greek seasoning, lemon, potatoes, peppers, zucchini, squash, uh, all ready to go. So that was ready. My boyfriend and I had dinner last night. There's leftover chicken for lunch. There's this beef mixture. I like to eat beef for breakfast, not a big egg gal. And I say all this because the choices that I make with food completely impact my mind, body, and spirit. It reduces anxiety when we cut out things like sugar, processed white sugar, which sends our body into total fight or flight, which is basically what oatmeal is. So I'm really glad nobody said oatmeal on here. So y'all are doing great. If you ate oatmeal this morning, no problem. Just throw it away and never eat it again. That's, reducing the anxiety and coming into this like better space of homeostasis in the body is important. It will make the movement more accessible. It will make the meditation seem like less of a task. So the food thing is super important. And as I like kind of wrap up here, because I do like to give the last 10 minutes back to you to go implement something. I do want to leave some space for questions, which I probably should have chimed in earlier. Those are the three things we're gonna yeah, awesome. Food is so important. Yes, but you eat the whole food and hated it from here. It's yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for that, Mike. Totally. You guys, we get one body. We only get one. We only get to do this once. Which when you start to like kind of realize not absolved from the aging process, of which I was kind of hoping I might be, but I'm not. Yeah, we really it's time to take a really hard look at what you're eating. In my course, Give Up on Giving Up, I do encourage a food log, food journal, write it down, write how you feel. This is what I ate, this is how I felt. I eat oatmeal, peanut butter, raisins, and cinnamon. Okay, Mike, thank you for being brave enough to admit it. You're doing great. Don't eat that anymore. No more oatmeal, no more peanut butter. And I would say no more raisins either. You don't need the sugar. But if you check out my course and you get that eating guide, the way that I do ground beef in the crock pot is with honey and cinnamon. It sort of tastes like oatmeal. And you could do some like just a maybe 1/4 of a sliced banana on the side just to get a little like a little sugar hit isn't bad, especially if you're moving your body a lot. But what happens when we even eat natural sugar like fruit, we rise in energy with the sugar and then we crash. It's exactly like caffeine. Do as I say, not as I do. So yeah, we can totally talk more about the food thing. If you connect with me on Instagram, I can share who I follow and where I get this information. I like to say, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a dietitian. I wouldn't ask either one of those professions for food advice. I am a firm believer in eating mostly meat and mostly beef, to be honest, for a variety of reasons. The enzyme that our bodies use to break down beef actually does clarify the gut. And the healed gut is the key to optimal health and longevity. I mean, you don't have to take my word for it. I can definitely send you to the resources, but I just want to drop that food thing in here because it is the morning. Starting the day with high quality animal protein is so important. Um, and fueling your life, obviously, mind, body, spirit is why we're all here. So before we go, we got a little time for questions. If you all want to hop in the chat, and this is a rich call. I love it. Um, Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You've got my email in there. You've got my email. Let's see. My IG is at Alex Sabbag. You guys connect with me on these platforms. My website, where you can learn more about me. There's a link to the book on the website as well. Again, my 2 courses are live on Fuel. There are links to the book. Thank you. Thank you for ordering the book. Who's ready for book 2? I know I am. Amazing. Yeah, spread the word, bring your people. I can hang out and hold the space till the top of the hour if there are questions. Um, Otherwise, I would really encourage, this last few minutes of this call, go implement something or write down what it is you want to take away and work, into your day, your week, your month. And then I want to hear from you when you do. When you go through the courses, you'll be asked to do the same thing. And it's like, it is a bit of this like habit stacking over time once you start to like work in what was your favorite part of your acceptance journey? My favorite? Who I think learning I think learning how to truly surrender, which is something that I have to practice over and over, has been my favorite part. I think I spent the better part of my younger year. I started my first business when I was 25. It was a PR company. I did fundraising and communications for mostly nonprofits in Chicago. And I was told, you got to show up a certain way and like, here's how you deal with the men and be strong and girl boss, like all that stuff. And that's me from that's like a little nugget of my professional past. And as I, kind of lived that life and went through this 2x4 moment and that massive experience with my fiance and like seeing how things um, can straight up not work out, right, on a very large scale and on even, some of the smaller scales that we go through every day, learning that I don't have to force anything anymore is a huge gift. And that's good and bad. I mean, we have to accept that. We have to accept not forcing. Because when you force, you're getting the outcome that you think you want. And 9 times out of 10, that's going to fall by the wayside if you're not supposed to have it. So just allowing things to show up and doing so through deep surrender and letting go. It doesn't mean we do nothing. We do the act. We put the act in action through the practice. And that's what I want to make really, really clear here is when we are in these seasons of no longer and not yet, it is the practice that carries you through. You get up because you get to get up. You get to move. You get to, choose some sort of like mind releasing task. We can call it meditation. We can call it mindfulness, whatever it is. And we have to fuel our body. I mean, that is a non-negotiable, which is why I think it's like, kind of takes the cake at the top. No pun intended there. But yeah, this act of surrender and understanding that we don't have to force. Not only should we not force it, we don't have to because it's just not how it works. So I think that's my answer. And there's a lot of conversations about acceptance in the course too, which I think this group might really enjoy. Any final questions before we go about our Monday? Before I dive into my beef for breakfast meal? Number one movement. Gosh. Oh, you're not asking me what my number would be. Okay, you're just listing them. Cool. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't have a
Well,
number
if
one
you want to tell
movement.
us the number one movement, great. But I figured I would just list this for everyone
Yeah.
as they can go off and journal for themselves and get
Yeah.
their Monday
That was the
started.
order they were presented, but I would even encourage you in the next 4 minutes, um, assess your meals, make a grocery list. That's a great action item. Whether you're going to the grocery store or you're an Instacart junkie like me, build your list. Get really clear on what you want to put in your body. If you're stumped, let me know. I got a lot of food recs for you. Anything else, friends, before
This
we
was
go, team?
a nice conversation here. It looks like you moved some people, which is the goal of this. So thank you. Great job.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Have a beautiful Monday. It was awesome to connect with you. So awesome. Yeah, beautiful. One of you guys DM me. Here we go. Alexandria, thank you.
You'll have her
Wow.
email, Alex. You can reach out to her.
Okay, awesome. You guys will all hear from me after this. So thank you. And you have my contact info too. So I appreciate you guys. Have a beautiful Monday.